So you're basically using your customers' money to finance the acquisition of new customers. Is literally the secret to Hormozy's, $46.2 million exit. This was literally the core offer that he ran, right, at the gyms that he licensed. How can you apply this to your own coaching, consulting, whatever business? I'm about to show you exactly how we used free offers to, wait a second, make $12,000 upfront and then turn that into, well, let's just say an undisclosed amount of money. So a lot of you might be confused. How is it a free offer? By the way, if you're interested in the actual free offer that we're running and you're an entrepreneur, it's going to be down in the description. Shameless plug. First of all, why use free offers over paid offers? So the thing is, a free offer versus a paid offer gives you a lot more leeway. What do I mean by that? So when you have a free offer, not only is your ad cost extremely low, you have a very high reply rate on whatever ad you're running. You have a very high opt-in rate. You have a lot of people that come in on the front end. Not only that, because it's such a good offer, you have a very high offer take-up rate. So you don't even need to be that good at sales, right? But again, there's a caveat here. So we basically do a free 6-week focus challenge. His point is this, right? It's free, but it's free with a deposit. Now, what does this mean, right? So basically, people put down between $2,000 to $4,000, and if they fulfill all their requirements, they get an executive systems manager. They get all of these people that are dedicated to their success. And what we do is we basically hold entrepreneurs accountable. So we eliminate the distractions, identify the constraint of the business, and then track their execution live so that they're 98 to 99% efficient in the time that they work. And so they make a crap load of money with us. But here's the thing, right? The reason why we take the deposit, the way that we position it is for commitment, right? And this is true. Like, you need to pay for stuff to make sure that you're held accountable, right? And the way that we do it is, hey, if you do this, this, and this, like if you attend all the calls and you make sure, like, you take all your weekly, check-ins on time, make sure everything's done to its proper standard, then you get all the money that you put down back, right? So I've done this for like 3 of the businesses that I've run. The idea isn't, and I'll make this very clear, the idea isn't that you take their money if they lose, okay? This is something that'll destroy it'll destroy your reputation in the market. Nobody's going to listen to you ever. I remember there was only 1 deposit or 2 deposits that I took. One of them, there was a dude that I literally bugged for 3 months straight to get on the challenge, and he didn't. And this was way back in the day. The idea isn't that you take the money. Heck, even if they lose, even if they fail here and there, you want to return their money back to them in full. The power of this offer is that you basically get an interest-free loan. That's the idea with this offer, right? So basically, this offer has like a 78-80% close rate. Mind you, this is when they're actually on the call. What essentially happens is you can take that however much amount of money you had. So in our case, we closed, I think, 2 people at 4,000, and then we had I think, how many did we have? I'm not sure about the actual. I think this might have actually been 16. I'm gonna have to look into the numbers, but I'll tell you why I don't know these numbers, because it doesn't matter. You take all of this money and then you put it towards ads, right? And in these ads, you can either market your paid offer or you can market the free offer again. And then you kind of have this flywheel, right? Where you have free customers paying for free customer. What that allows you to do is, number one, it allows you to collect testimonials. Number two, it actually allows you to have be terrible at sales, but still close. Not to say I'm terrible at sales. I like to think I'm pretty good. I've role played with fucking Jeremy Minor. So, I mean, I'm not that bad, but when you position it as free, you basically have this flywheel effect that takes place, and then you can just keep on using the money to advertise over and over again. So when they ask you for their money back at the end of the 6 weeks, you're past the 42-day window where you've already used their $2,000 or $4,000 or $6,000 deposit to get 3, 4, 5 more people at that same exact cost, right? And not only, as I said before, do you have a lower ad cost, a higher reply rate, and a higher offer take-up rate. So again, you could be terrible at ads, you could be terrible at everything, and still get a lot of people to take you up on the offer. It's basically guaranteed. So this is actually something that Hormozy did. Alex Hormozy, if you guys don't know who he is, he's like the guy who wrote the $100 million offers, $100 million leads book. He's one of the most popular entrepreneurs online. This is what he did with his company Gym Launch, right? So basically what he did at Gym Launch is he went to gyms and he told them to run a 6-week transformation challenge. I'm just gonna write trans here. Let's not get political. It's just to make the damn thing short. Why am I writing challenge out fully? Let's do everything half, okay? So he had the 6-week transformation challenge, and he called it free, right? So he told the gyms to run this challenge, and they'd come in and they'd put down a $500 deposit, and they basically could win it back in the 6 weeks. But at the end of the 6 weeks, or this is what they used to do, week 3 they used to upsell them into continuity. Now, 3 of the people, I believe, out of like 6 or 7 that we actually worked with, actually upsold, and they worked with us continuously because we provided them with so much value. They kind of feel ashamed of asking for their money back. But again, like, you want to have these intervals. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 weeks. You ask for you ask for an upsell here and here, right? So week 3 and week 6, you basically upsell them on the continuity offer, right? Whether it's like 800 a month, 1,000 a month, 2,000, it doesn't matter, right? So you basically get them on as a long-term client, even if they don't. Again, you've already had the flywheel to achieve what is called, and I think this is one of the most beautiful business principles that exists out here. It's called CFA. Customer, I'm actually going to write this out, never mind. Customer financed acquisition, right? So you're basically using your customer's money to finance the acquisition of new customers, right? So these gyms, they would use the $500 and then they'd get 5, 10, 15 more people, right? And then they'd keep doing that over and over again. And, they'd fill up their gyms that way. So this concept right here, customer finance acquisition, is literally the secret to Hormozi's, $46.2 million exit. This was literally the core offer that he ran at his gyms, right? At the gyms that he licensed. How can you apply this to your own coaching, consulting, whatever business? Again, a lot of people have this limiting belief that this is only something that you can do in service-based businesses or whatever. Like, again, free converts at, I think, a 9 times higher rate than paid on any advertising platform. If there's any way that you can put in the word free on your advertising, the amount of leads that you're going to get are substantially more than any other cost there is, because your cost per lead goes down so much. Like, we ran some ads, and most of the stuff that we did was through cold email, and we had a few people coming through YouTube as well. But like on Meta, we were getting like a $3 cost per lead for coaches, consultants, and agency owners, online entrepreneurs. It's a very competitive space. I know people in masterminds that I'm in that are getting like $60 per lead, $100 per lead, $200 per lead, and they're okay with that because they sell people on $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. But if you can get that low of a cost per lead, and if you're getting like a heavy upfront payment because you're reversing all the risk on the customer, then this is what happens. This is what Dan Kennedy talks about. Dan Kennedy is a legendary copywriter, is legendary businessman. He says that the customer or the business that can spend, I'm not going to write out the whole quote because I'm kind of lazy. The business that can spend the most amount of money to acquire the customer wins. And who can spend the most amount of money to acquire the customer? The business to whom the customer is most valuable. So let me ask you a question, right? If you were, let's say, selling houses, right? And the houses you're selling, let's say, were $1 million. And so like every single buyer, let's say this is the person, we'll give them little money eyes right here. They're happy and they're looking at, this is such a weird drawing. They're looking at this house. It looks like a little hut. I don't know. Maybe in San Francisco, you'll get this small of a house for $1 million. But they're looking at this house. How much are you willing to spend to actually get this person? Well, it's $1 million house, right? So whatever your margin is on that, let's say you're making like, 100K or whatever in commission, you should be willing to spend basically almost anywhere up to this number to get this customer, right? But when you're collecting all this money up front and you have such a low CPL, you have a low ad cost rate, you have a high reply rate, and you have a high offer take-up rate, this is what you can do. I'm gonna write this out because it's important. You can outspend the shit out of every single one of your competitors. Sounds pretty damn attractive to me. And when you can outspend the crap out of your competitors while getting a lower ad cost, while getting a lower cost per lead, you have created a legal, ethical monopoly. So again, if you are an like, it doesn't even matter what type of business you're in, right? That's why even people that sell high ticket, if you look at people that, and again, high ticket is like, 10K plus, people that sell high ticket, most of the people that have good cost, good margin, they have some sort of lead magnet. What is a lead magnet? It's something that you give for very cheap or free so that you can take this lead, you can take the contact information of the person that you've just sold, and then sell them on the high ticket. Why do they need a lead magnet to sell high ticket? If you want to operate at a high margin. I know people that run direct to VSL, but they're doing like 30% margin. And then they flex online that, oh, I've made 100 million, 150 million. You ask them the margin, they don't even want to answer the question. They get offended, right? Why do they do the lead magnet? The people that are successful, because free or cheap, especially free, does so much better than everything else. But the thing is, when you're actually providing a service for free, it's much more attractive than a PDF, much more attractive than anything. So these are some actionable steps if you want to implement this. 99% of YouTube watchers are mental masturbators. I'm just saying it how it is, right? Most of you guys have been watching a shitload of videos from myself, Alex Hermosi, Sam Ovens. I guess Sam Ovens doesn't post anymore. You guys don't implement. But if you do want to implement this, if you're the 1%, using a little identity reframe here, if you are part of the 1% that wants to implement this, take your service-based offer, make it free, position it like that, collect a deposit, get a good ascension process in place. I don't know. I'm not a spell. Okay, I'm a business owner, not a freaking doctor. All right, get a good ascension process in place, and then just keep doing it over and over again. You don't need an ad cost. You don't need a marketing budget. You don't need any of this shit. And you will make a shitload of money because you'll be able to outspend all of your competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like the video, 6-week focus challenge down below if you actually want to execute and implement. We help entrepreneurs that are already relatively established add an extra 30 to 50K in new revenue over 6 weeks or more, depending on the length that you're, okay with. That'll be down in the description. If you don't want to opt in to my amazing offer, that's okay. I know some of you guys, don't like buying stuff. That's okay. Just subscribe to the channel, like the video, forward it to the 4 friends that you have, stuff like that. Ciao.